And we are indeed live here in Benbecula, which there is a prize for knowing exactly where Benbecula is.
I know now.
I know as well because I just drove down here from Lewis, and I'm looking for David. You're there, David.
Yes.
Let's go split screen.
Okay.
And I'll lose the cue for the video. That's Rob, Ellen, and David Starr. It's nice to see you, David.
Nice to see you, Rob.
I'm assuming that you are in Cedar Edge, in that beautiful part of the world up there on top of the Rockies.
I am in the. We've had record snowfall. When I say record, probably more than we've had in 40 or 50 years up there. You've been here, so you know the beautiful Grand Mesa up behind me.
I know.
We've had almost 600 inches of snow.
600 inches. That's. I'm trying to work that out. That's yards of snow.
It's many feet of snow, and the problematic part, if there is one, is that there's about 50 inches of water equivalent in the snow.
Yeah,
which means if we get a bunch of
that's going to come tumbling down the mountain.
Yep, but I'm safely ensconced in the back of my guitar store here. I'm sorry about the camera quality. My good camera, of course, didn't work, and the bad one does. So
we're close. We got close to all being perfect.
Pretty close.
Yeah, we got close, but it's nice to have you along. Nice to have everybody else along as well. We are busy today. There is a chat frame on the window that you are viewing from, and we are broadcasting 25 outlets on this show today. So why not share it? Make it 26. Please do like, and I will add a little welcome message to the chat frame. I'll just do that just now, David, and then we'll come back and talk to you about.
Okay.
Well, we're going to concentrate on your British tour, which is coming up. It's only a week or so away, a couple of weeks. But I also want to find out how the recording process is going, because I've been noticing that you are busy again, and I've noticed that you are seriously back on the Troubadour Trail again. So let's have a chat about what the health of the American live music scene is. I'd be very interested in that.
Yeah, well,
and also I've got a new video, and we've got a bit of live video to play as well. So all good. Looking forward to all of that. Let's see if we can get this working. There's a friend of ours in the chat frame.
There she is.
Yeah. Right. Right, we're getting close to actually starting the show. It is a joy to have everybody along with us, and nice to see you, Heather. Good to have you with us as well. So I'll hide that message, and I'll put that one up. So we can do that. That's just to show everybody that we can do that. Please do let us know where you're viewing from. David's in Cedar Edge. You know where I am. I'm in Benbecula, which is the very middle island of the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. If you've never been, can I thoroughly recommend it? I'd forgotten just how stunning this place is. And I haven't been to Benbecula in about 20 years, so I'm very pleased to say that's where I am. I'm following a fantastic show, and this is for David's interest as well. It's called In the Wake of Metagama. And Metagama was a ship that left here 100 years ago in 1923 with 1,800 young people from this island who were offered passage to Canada because the Canadian government and the British government were in cahoots over getting farm workers to Canada and basically not giving people land rights here, so they could do with getting rid of folk. And they got rid of an entire generation of islanders, and that's why these islands are just particularly empty of folk. It's because it
Wow.
already cleared by the Highland clearances 50 or 60 years before. The World War I, 5 or 6 years before, had decimated 1,000 folks, and they were all young folks as well. Then another 1,800 disappeared on the Metagama. The reason that I'm here is to follow a tour of musicians, storytellers, and poets who are commemorating that event, mostly islanders. And one of the islanders, singer-songwriter Willie Campbell, will be my special guest. I can just about hear the music in the venue right beside the moose, and Willie, when he's finished with the show, and I think I've got a snippet I can show off the show, will join us. So pretty exciting show as well. You got to come here, David.
I want to.
There's some lovely little venues, and all the schools. And it's a school that the theatre. They're using the school's theatre for the show tonight. So
Why couldn't we do that in July?
Yes.
Huh?
Your people should speak to my people.
I think we're doing that now.
Is that what we're doing now?
In front of all these people. In witness hereof. God and everybody.
I would imagine. Leave that with me. That's
okay.
That's a good point to lead us into the to the interview. And what I should do is put the graphic up with your tour, and then you can maybe just go through the tour with us and perhaps tell us which one is which ones you've done before, which ones you haven't, and basically,
all right.
A bit more about the tour itself.
We've got a little bit of a change. That first date was canceled, postponed. Won't go into why, but the presenter decided not to go forward with that. That's okay. Maybe we'll do it another time. April 30th, which is Sunday afternoon, a place called the Tin Shed in Truden Mold down in Wales.
Yeah.
That's a couple there that has an amazing little venue next to their house, and they do dance and movement classes and meetings and retreats and all sorts of things, but they also do concerts. And this will be our third time to play there. And 3 times in a row, we will have done it as a benefit. Last year, we did it to benefit school children in Ukraine, and we had a fellow there who is actually actively working to get computers and clothing and things like that into Ukraine to help these kids. Yeah. Raised some money for that. This year, we're going to do the same or similar thing. May 2nd down in Kingsbridge. It's a house concert.
Just before you move on from that, point of interest from the medicine show Moose, we are also, and I'll flash some dates up, we're also going to be on tour. So we're kind of following you round and crossing and not crossing on that tour with Tom Mason. We're playing one in Llanvudlin, that's easy for me to say, Llanvudlin.
Yes.
And that is basically, I know exactly where you are with that Welsh house concert and the most beautiful countryside
and beautiful people. That's some of the
lovely folk there.
This family that does that it's a beautiful story how it all came about, and it's I just can't wait to be there. And they feed us wonderfully. The Kingsbridge, the house concert is an old 17th century dairy called Hatch Court outside of Kingsbridge that a fellow has.
If you get a chance, and it's not too far away from where you are, have a look at Llanvudlin at the workhouse.
Okay.
It was an original Victorian Georgian workhouse, which was basically the poorhouse. It was all that was left if you were destitute.
Sure.
You could go to the poorhouse, but they weren't there for comfort, that's for sure.
It wasn't the Comfort Inn.
No, it wasn't. No. But what's happened with that one is that they've they've kept it the way that it was, more or less. And there's a museum there to tell you how it all worked. But
Okay.
it's run by artists and artisans, and they run events and things as well. So if you do get a chance to go to that and have a look,
Okay.
I have friends there, and it'd be worth your while. It might be an extra gig at some point down the line. But we'll be there. We'll be there in May.
I did skip a date that's not on the schedule. May 1st, we sort of left open, and let me just say, there may or may not be something down in Devon that we're going to do.
Wow.
On the water, which we're looking forward to. I haven't got that all ironed out, but somebody else does, and we'll show up and do it. That should be fun. So again, Kingsbridge House concert, Grateful Fred's on May 3rd in Southport.
Those are two of my favorite gigs in the entire world.
Yep. We've every year I talk to the guys at Grateful Fred's, but it's always later in the month when I come. This month it worked out. The 4th of May, the Georgian Hotel in Coatbridge, which someone was a friend over there was kind enough to connect me with.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a beautiful place.
That works as a good gig as well. That's there's if there's a chance of me getting to any of those, it'll be that one. But at the moment, I think I'm picking up Tom Mason on that day. But we'll try.
We're all out doing what we do, and then these two gigs that you introduced me to, these many years ago, the Crystal House in Strathpeffer and Invernairn Hotel there in Nairn, your birthplace. And this originally was going to be a 2-week tour, as we usually do, but I was having trouble filling some dates in between May 6th and the very last date, a week or more out, and so we had to forego one of them. And as a result, we're coming back here, and we're going to get to open for Jim Messina of Loggins and Messina.
Wow!
Hopefully, we're doing that, and
as long as you're not wasting your time.
Well, it's never a waste of time, and I love England, Scotland, Wales. I love it over there. We just couldn't stay for 5 days and not have anything happening. And
that was me being facetious.
Yeah, we try to. You've known me long enough to know I don't slow down much. I keep going.
No, you don't.
And I like it that way.
Yeah, you like to be on the move. You and I share that.
Yes.
And things happen when you're on the move.
Yep.
That's so. I didn't know I was going to be in Benbecula 3 weeks ago. Now I'm in Benbecula, and it's wonderful.
Well, I think when we're there to play Belladrum in July.
Yeah.
If we came a day or two early, we could scoot out there and see that part of the world. I thought when we were on the Isle of Skye that we were way out there last year.
Oh,
we were.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see it. I mean, for me, I love to come over and play music, but more than anything, I love to come over there and meet people and see the scenery. And and you've become our resident historian all these years. You're always able to answer questions.
Well, that, and you're like this as well. It's basically because I get to go to places that I've never been before, and I feel kind of honor bound to at least find out a bit about and that got to be a habit, and now it's an obsession.
Well,
first thing I look at is Wikipedia. Of course, you believe every word that you read in Wikipedia.
Well, but it sends you on the right direction anyway.
It puts you down the right road, and then you can start researching, and before you know, you've got a story, and then you can illuminate and what's the word to expand on a story? Anyway,
elucidate. I don't know, something.
So from my point of view, what I do, I tend to focus on independent music, so that people like yourself, I've got some information that I can pass about venues, and the local folks have got an outlet for their music as well, and IMTV. And what we do is that, and to emphasize that, we've got Willie Campbell from these islands, and a band called Astrid, who had a flirtation with rock and roll stardom in the 90s. So we're going to talk about that as well.
Cool.
Okay, rock and roll stardom, seeing we're on the subject, David Starr.
Yes.
Are you working with John Oates and these recordings this time?
What we're working on right now doesn't involve John directly, although, and he doesn't know it yet, but I'm about to call him and ask him to come sing on something. But he's been out busy doing his solo stuff. I've noticed that. The album we're working on right now, I say we, my friend Mark Prentice and I, who helps me produce and build the band down in Nashville the last couple of projects. I grew up playing blues music, and I still play a little blues music. And I wanted to do something that leaned heavily in that direction. Now, it will be harder to take that on the road because it really needs a full band to do it the way we're doing it. But we're going to make the record anyway. So we're using some great players. The tunes are not straight ahead, Memphis blues, but they lean in that general direction, and kind of my version of what passes for blues. So some are original, a few covers, and we're 7 songs into it, and we'll probably do another 3 or 4 before it's over. Come out next year.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm glad you're gainfully employed, and I can't wait to hear the results of that. So I'm going to play the video in a minute, and we'll come back, have a little bit more chat. I'll see if I can. It's just a snippet from the start of this show that I'm following just now, but it'll give you an indication of the atmosphere at the show. And there've been sellout nights in all these little islands the last 3 nights as well. So
let's do that when I'm over. Let's do that. That's what we want.
Well, yeah. Well, let's introduce you to Lisa anyway. She'll be at Belladrum, that's for sure.
All right.
Okay, so let me see, what am I gonna do? Oh, greetings from the Philippines. That is Sean, and the last time I saw Sean, he was busking. And where were you? We were in Catterick in Ireland. That might not be the right town, but anyway, it was in the west of Ireland last time I seen Sean. He's in the Philippines now. It's nice that folks are getting about again, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's get this video going. I'm going to start it and then bring it into the screen.
Well, I used to be afraid of flying, but I don't remember why. Was I worried about the fall, but just giving up control? But I walked away from burning bridges with a matchbook in my hand, bad bets and good intentions, lighting up the night. They say a man can change, they say a man can grow. I'm moving in that direction. I gotta walk before I run. When the better me shows up, I'll let you know. As if we all have wings to fly away, but the gods have all gone home and the angels have all flown. Looks like we're here to stay, but I'm dreaming of country, northern lights close by, where castles line the shore like soldiers watching over me. They protect me from my appetites. They don't want trouble in the dark. I'd find connection that I crave and be at peace in some small way. It's shows up, oh yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know. When the part of me shows up, I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Yeah, and it was all going so smoothly up until then. Sorry for overqueuing. Your video, David, and I'll just bring David back into the picture. Lovely video,
So
David.
that song is directly influenced by my time in the UK, and specifically up there where you're from in the Highlands and Nairn,
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah.
Cindy and I, my wife, have often said that if we could live anywhere besides where we live right now, it would be right up there. And
Well,
Hey.
and your part of the world is so magnificent as well. I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying in that regard. Have you been seeing the pictures of the Northern Lights this year, particularly?
I've seen a few, but I haven't really spent much time on it. That's something we've missed when we've been over there. You know,
Yeah.
Camilla and Nairn told us once if we could play there in the fall, oftentimes they're out that back window over the Moray Firth
Yeah.
when you're playing, which just sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, that's got to be. They will be there in the summer and spring, but because the sun never goes down in this latitude, basically you never get a chance to see the Northern Lights. So
Right.
I just went and had a look out the door, and the sun is still with us. We were looking at not actually still with us, but the light from the sun is still with us, and we're at 10:30 in the evening. But it does look as if there might be a chance, and I'm told that the Northern Lights are going to make an appearance at some point over the next 3 days or so. But you just catch a bloom of it if you're lucky. So we
Right.
might be lucky tonight. I'm going to keep my eye on it. Keep your eye on. There's the moose going along the ticker at the bottom there. That is Medicine Show on the road.me. I do post photos, and if there's any Northern Lights photos, that's where you'll find it. Please do follow the moose. There you'll get the occasional notification if we're going to be going live, which hopefully you can live with, and then join us for any of these live shows. It would be wonderful to have you along, and please do share this show if you're enjoying it as well. And well, I've got you, David. I'll just run through the commercial break if you're all right with that.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we've got one or two. Before we do that, we've got one or two comments coming in. Douglas Rohrer. Now he is responsible with his son Taylor for the theme music. They're in, and thanks always for your music. That's Doug Rohrer. He's great. Now, the grandnephew of Posey Rohrer and Charlie Poole, North Carolina Ramblers. They're in North Carolina. Family dynasty of players right there. And his son, Taylor, and himself have one or two bands, but they're also got the new North Carolina Ramblers as well. So thanks for tuning in this evening, Doug. We must do one of these, the two of us, at some point to catch up with everything that you're up to and everything that your family's up to as well. I don't know who this is. She stalks me.
Yes, I've seen her, and I've seen her today, as a matter of fact.
Cindy, thank you. Looking forward to. I hope to get to see you guys.
Now, see, here's what'll happen. Now that you've talked to her about it, you'll find a way to get there. I know how this works.
I'm so see-through.
Yeah. They say transparency is a good thing, but I don't know. Whatever gets you to the gig.
Well, what is for sure is that I will miss you if I do miss you. So, okay, so what was it I was going to do? Remind me. I was going to do something. Oh, yeah. Got to always remember to plug yourself as well as everybody.
Uh-huh.
So, let's go back to that graphic, that particular caption. And actually at the moment I'm running a let's do that. We're running a funder for. I'm giving myself a year to try and raise enough money to have a mobile studio rather than just cramming it all in the back of this camper van, having to break it down, put it all back together again. It really helped me if we had a mobile trailer that would have everything set in the trailer. We would then pull it to, say, Benbecula, put it somewhere in the middle of these islands, and spend more time having a look around and inviting local musicians to come and broadcast and record in the Mobile Moose studio, hoping that we can make raise enough money to make that a stage as well, so we can do live events as well. That is what's happening at the bottom of your screen, guys. That's how you can contribute to that. And this is a kind of general idea of it. What I do is all publicly funded, and it comes courtesy of your gratitude and courtesy of the milk of human kindness. Wherever we land, we do find very cool people that are doing very cool things, and that's why I like to broadcast. That's what we like to encourage. And at the bottom of your screen, just coming along there, is the donate buttons are at PayPal as well. So I will post that onto the chat frame, and if you do feel like there's a couple of quid, just you can do this as well. You can buy me that. I could do with a coffee, actually.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So this resembles that you sent me a thing. It was about Ronnie Lane's Airstream that he had all those years ago. Many years ago, my brother and I would borrow a guy's Volkswagen van, and we had a big 4-track Sony recorder with. There you go. And it had and this recorder had 10-inch reels and ran at 15 inches per second, and we'd back that up to a little bar there in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where we lived, and run a bunch of mic cables in and record a local band. And it's you're preserving history when you do that, you know?
Yeah. And Ronnie's van is a piece of history. It's actually fallen into the hands of a friend of mine's nephew, who runs a business selling rock and roll memorabilia. Now, this beautiful piece of equipment from the 70s, intact at the moment, is up for sale. I really don't. I mean, the Stones mimicked this and built one themselves, and that one went for over $1 million. So I'm thinking Ronnie's will go for $500,000 anyway.
Well, the nice thing is now you don't need that much space, because everything is, you know, like that's a big 2-inch, looks like a 2-inch 8-track or 1-inch 8-track machine, full patch bay, looks like some 610 preamps back there, and a full console. I mean, all that stuff takes up room and weight and all that. You can build out one of these now with what would fit in a large suitcase.
That's right.
And mount some monitors and stuff in it. So I'm all for it. And plus, you're doing not just the music part, but you're doing the history part. So I think people ought to get on board. I'm going to be on board myself.
Well, you already are, my friend. And and your support really does mean a lot to me, as well as everybody else's as well. The thing is, and you're perfectly correct, what I'll do with our one is I'll put state-of-the-art video equipment. I'm collecting it as we go anyway, so it will be installed as a television studio,
right? And
it will also have a kitchen and a bed that I don't have to put down and take up every night. So so you know, it would just make life more comfortable for me, a lot easier, and just a lot easier to, because I do this all by myself. It'd be just so much easier to have it all laid out every day and just come and go to work on it.
Well, it seems that you could be a little more spontaneous with what you do
Willie,
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, come on in.
Will I get my guitar?
You will need your guitar. That's Willie Campbell. He's going to
Okay.
be with us in just a minute.
I'm still looking at Ronnie Lane.
Yeah, I know. That's the only picture of a rock star that I have in the Moose.
I love that. Yeah.
One.
That's a guy in his element right there.
Yeah. And see that studio, David, while we're talking about it, he lived in that van for 2 years in Pete Townsend's garden.
Huh.
That studio tracked all of Quadrophenia. And when he wasn't in Pete's garden, he was at the Rainbow in London, recording the likes of, and this is what you're talking about, history, the likes of Bob Marley and Eric Clapton live. Those 2 live albums were done through that studio.
Wow. I wonder if they just used that 1 8-track machine.
Yeah. So that's
crazy.
us. We're back. It's David Starr here. He's on tour. And for those that just arrived, we will flash up the dates.
Yeah, ignore that first one and add something, a little surprise down in the Devon area on May 1st. And
we've got Willie Campbell, and we're going to talk about in the wake of the Metagama, the theatre, music and poetry show that he is touring around the Outer Hebrides and that we are following. That's coming up in just a minute. So here we are. I'm broadcasting, but it's fucking great to see you, mate. Come on in. Just say hello to everybody as you pass by, Willie, would you?
Hello.
Hi, Willie. Hi, Willie. Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Good.
So I'll just swivel them. I'll get rid of that graphic. And of course, Dave, just feel free to hang around as long as you want, or wander off. Or
I'll probably wander off because it's getting near time for the evening meal here. So
this is David Starr.
Hey, how you doing, man?
He's in Colorado and in the Grand Mesa. David also, sparing your blushes, apart from being a fabulous singer-songwriter, he works with John Oates, who does his production work and collaborates on songs, and they write songs together and sings in his albums and vice versa. And he has. And how was the festival this year, David? While we got you.
Oh, Applefest?
Yeah.
Oh, it was quite good actually. We had, the thing about any outdoor gig, as you know, is if the weather cooperates, everything else falls into place. And you've been here. It was about 75 degrees and bluebird sky. It was couldn't have been better. We had a nice selection of music, and so
David lives up on the high mesa, right up there on the top of the Rockies, where there's no oxygen goes.
Wow. Yeah. Did you get altitude sickness?
I did. No, I just couldn't move. I didn't acclimatize at all to it.
I've been here 23 years. I've gotten quite used to it. So.
Yeah. So he's got the best guitar shop that you could ever imagine to wander into as well. Sometime, Willie, you need to go and visit.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
We'll get you back over here too, Rob. Just one of these days.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Yeah,
right,
I'm going to talk. My people will talk to your people about that.
You got it. Well, let me just tell everybody, go to davidstarmusic.com. Look for the tour dates.
And I can put a wee graphic up to help everybody with that.
And then Facebook, David Starr Music, Instagram, David Starr Music, all that. We're going to be. And I should say, I'm not just going alone. Eric Stuckey, the fabulous mandolin player and friend of mine, is going with me this time. He went last year, fell in love with the whole area, and couldn't wait to get back. So,
Willie, are you going to be? Let's swap that around to Willie. In the Moose, look at that. There's Willie Campbell, for goodness sake.
There he is.
My life. Are you going to be at Belladrum this year?
I'm not actually, no.
Oh, for goodness
No.
sake, that's bad news.
Unfortunately,
already.
not.
Yeah. Should have asked before that. Okay, David, thank you for being with us. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Rob.
Chance to ask David a question in the chat frame. Just make sure Doug Rohrer was the last one that said anything. Nice to have Doug along for the show as well. Let's lose that. Lose the advert.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it with you and head up to the house.
Thanks. Well, say hello to Cindy
All
for
right.
me and all the good folks there in Cedar Edge. Can't wait
All
to
right.
see you all.
Hope to see you soon, Rob. Good.
All right, mate.
See you, Willie.
Cheers, pal. See you soon.
Bye. All right.
Bye.
So thank you, David. We're with Willie Campbell now.
Hi.
Are you buzzing?
Yeah, it's been a really good week, actually.
Has it?
Yeah, the practices were really intense, but it's coming together.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
4 days to put together what is a phenomenal show.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to just put up the dates for everybody, then we'll have a wee chat about the show. I want to also find out what you're up to, because you're, apart from this amazing show, you'll be recording and doing all sorts of stuff anyway.
Yeah, Tumbling Souls are back in the go. That's
Tumbling
cool.
Souls are
Yeah.
my favourite live band of last year.
Thanks,
Honestly,
man,
I
yeah.
said that at the time. They were just astounding at marching the Pitlockery, so I want to find out about that.
Yeah.
Also, what Astrid might be doing, if anything. We could just talk about them like the old days,
Yeah,
if you want.
absolutely. Anything you like, I'm here anyway.
I would love if you could pull a song out of the show.
Yeah, no problem.
I want to talk about the show, not in massive amount of depth, but just the ideas behind it as well. Let me get the tour dates up and remove this graphic.
You might need my words for some of these songs.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm still learning them.
It just amazes me how you artists can just pluck these words out of the brain time and time again. How many songs do you think you've got in your repertoire?
Oh.
I mean, apart from all the covers.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Just
I mean,
ridiculous, isn't
I
it?
write a lot of songs though, and I
Yeah.
have a habit of writing them and forgetting how to play them. I'll
Yeah.
go back to them and I'm like, no idea how this goes.
Is this my song?
Yeah, that's why phone recorders are so helpful, because it's sort of rescued loads
Yeah.
of songs from just never existing.
So that's where the tour's taking us. We've got a couple more. Yeah, I've got one more to enjoy down in Barra, and then you're back for the big show.
Yeah,
in Inverness.
looking forward to that one.
So, all right, avoid the graphic, of course. All right, let's pull that out of the way. We've got Willie Campbell in the Moose, the Medicine Show, Radio Moose Mobile. For new arrivals, you can ask Willie any questions in your chat frame. And it'd be nice to know where everybody's viewing from this evening. Excuse me while I adjust the camera so we can.
No problem. Get my words in front of me here. Do a bit of cheating.
That's all right, it's out of shot. You didn't even have to say that. Are you well, Willie?
Very well, yeah. It's been
Yeah.
a really good spell.
Yeah.
Been writing a lot of songs, and I was producing for someone as Norman Patterson. I was producing for Norman last couple of weeks ago. He was up recording in Wee
Because you
Studio.
got a little studio set up, haven't you? Not a little one. You've got
Well,
a nice
yeah,
studio
in my own house, I've got a studio set up, but we were over at Keith Morrison Wee Studio. Well, it's not so wee now;
Yeah.
it's proper.
Yeah.
You can
Cool.
get anyone in
Is
there.
that on Lewis?
Yeah, Ness. He's
Ness.
set up over in
So
Ness.
that's right
yeah.
up in the north, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very far north.
So you're a Lewis man,
Yes.
born and bred.
Yeah, 10 years in Glasgow when I was in Astrid, but apart from
Right.
that, my whole life in Lewis, yeah.
We're going to get this. Let's do a song, because I always like to, by way of introduction, some music's the best way of introducing a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
And have a think, if it's okay with you, have a think about another song out with the tour.
Aye, no problem at all.
We should do a little bit of background on the tour. It's called In the Wake of Metagama.
Yeah.
And basically, this tour commemorates the departure of 1,800 young people from these islands 100 years ago.
Yeah, really traumatic couple of decades for the island.
Yeah.
Because we just recently had before lockdown, we had the centenary of the Isle disaster as well.
Which was only 4 years before
so it was
the evacuation of the island, really.
Yeah.
Of young people.
Yeah.
And the Isle, for those that didn't know, and I've found out a bit more, and it wasn't taught in school, Willie. It was probably, of course, better known here in the islands, but I didn't know anything about this until the 80s, and Ian MacDonald wrote a really touching song about it, and I came over with him and Jackie Leavin, and I can remember the effect that had on the people in Stornoway particularly.
Yeah, I think it's one of these, it's just a prime example of maybe the island community's been treated with a little bit of contempt, even from mainland Scotland people. It's just almost forgotten. You know, it was just such an awful tragedy, and there's so many aspects of it were just devastating. You know, they were so close to home, and so many of them died. It's just
what was it that happened? I mean,
it was Hogmanay, and they were returning from the First World War, and the captain didn't know the path into the harbour particularly well. We didn't know it at all, and the local men that were on the ship knew that he was taking a really crazy route. Mm-hmm. And
they were all seamen.
Yeah, they had
mostly.
Yeah, there was a lot of them were seamen, First World War survivors, and traumatized people, and they hit these rocks, the beasts of Holloman, and there was a lot of them. I can't remember the exact figure, but there was loads of them died, and
there was 201
lost. There was some serious heroism as well, and
there was the stories. For those, if they've go to the Moose page, I've done a historical blog on that incident and tied it in with the fact that only 5 years later, 3 ships were loaded with the rest of the young people, really, from this island, on a government scheme. Correct me if I get any of this wrong. On a government scheme to really to renege on their land rights for living here, because they had said, be a reservist, go to the First World War, and we'll make a land fit for heroes for you to come back to. Yeah. And that didn't happen. Instead, they convinced everybody that they should be going to Canada to work the land in Canada, because they didn't have enough people working in Canada. Yeah. To work the land in Canada. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're roughly right. It's just another episode of contempt for the island communities. I'm afraid it was just historically there was just these awful policies towards island people, and we had a really bad run during the potato famine as well, but nowhere near as bad as Ireland. Clearly,
I don't know if it was nowhere near as bad. It just wasn't the amount of people.
Yeah, I think the Free Church actually did a lot of charity work. They had a mercy kind of ship that went around delivering grain.
I didn't know.
The bridal bean.
It's probably one of the first major appeals, but the people of Glasgow and the rest of Scotland did respond to that. Having said that, the landowners were clearing people off the land at the same time.
Yeah, and I think people over romanticize the crofting life as well, because if you come to the islands, you'll see the strips of land are extremely narrow. Yeah. You know, and they were made that way on purpose, so that people could make profit from the land. It was subsistence living when you were on a croft. So
and again, that forced, there was only my grandfather was a crofter. He was born in the croft at Calloway, but he was a second son. Yeah. So there was no way he had to go elsewhere. There's no way he could make a living out of the croft. And to emphasize what you're saying, he ended up in Glasgow, and he could have easily, and this has got my mind going, about the same time he could easily have ended up in Metagama, which would have meant that he would have ended up in Canada, which would have meant I wouldn't have ended up anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, at that split decision. He ended up in Glasgow, became a tailor, trained to be a tailor, and started a business in Nairn, in the Highlands of Scotland, outfitting the toffs. So that's where he met my grandmother, and that's where our family grew out of that.
Yeah, wow.
But he was a Gaelic-spoken Gael from Carloway. Do you have the Gaelic?
I was one of these annoying kids that would respond in English when my grandparents and my parents said anything to me in Gaelic. I understand it all, but my speaking, I'm not very confident.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Ah.
And my son is fluent. So he runs rings around me. He chat to my dad, no problem. But it's all in there. I just need a bit of
it does seem in this. We'll
brushing
get back to the Metagama's show on the basis, but it does seem like this is a bilingual set of islands now.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's no. Back when Gaelic medium first started, it was like you're sending your kid to Gaelic medium, and it seemed like a kind of weird choice. But now it's 50%, and you know, half the kids in the islands are bilingual by the time they're 7 or 8. Yeah, which is astonishing.
And it is spreading out across the Highlands.
It's so great for kids.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people that haven't got the Gaelic, particularly on the mainland, who send their kids to kindergarten, and they're picking up bits and pieces from their kids when they come home, because that's the time to really.
Oh yeah, they really just soak it all up. Yeah.
So there's a Gaelic element to the show, of course, and then there's a transatlantic element to the show in the second half. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, the first half is very focused on Gaelic songs and songs of Ciarán, this kind of, you know, this homesickness that's. But it's beyond homesickness. It's like the spiritual sadness people get when they leave the islands.
What's the word?
Ciarán.
Ciarán.
Yeah.
I need to remember that.
Yeah.
And you can see why, because there's nowhere like this.
No, there isn't really.
It's like the whole of Scotland in microcosm, eh? It's like the mountains and Cairngorms or Glencoe. You have that similar set of mountains right in the middle of splitting up Harris and Lewis.
Yeah.
But then you've got the peat bogs and the flow country of North in Lewis, and then I don't know what else I'm going to see as I get further south as well.
Barra's beautiful as well.
Yeah.
Barra's a lovely.
And you've got the beaches of Jamaica, the same colour beaches as you find on the other side of the Atlantic as well.
Yeah.
Astounding place.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Really lucky.
No wonder people got homesick. So okay, we'll return to the show, but you're at the songs within the show. There's some traditional stuff to evoke the emotion, but there's also some that are written by the protagonists within the show, and there's monologues as well.
Yeah.
Have you written one for the show, or any?
The songs.
Yeah.
They're co-writes mainly with DS. The lyrics, most of them are DS's, and I wrote the melody and the songs. There's one song called "When I Dream of Home."
Tell us about DS, because he's.
Actually, it's a great writer. He was my English teacher in school.
Is that right?
Yeah, in first year he taught me English, and I didn't.
What's his second name again?
Donald S. Murray.
Donald S. Murray.
Yeah.
So he and Lisa Mulholland researched this all by going to America anyway.
Yeah.
Finding survivors, or not survivors, descendants of the people that
are Lisa's done an incredible amount of work pulling it all together. Yeah. So it was Lisa and Donald that approached me to do the co-write.
Yeah, and Donald is a narrator.
Yeah.
Obviously an English teacher, but also an author and a poet as well. And that all comes through
Oh yeah,
in the
definitely. Yeah, I think
creativity
so.
of the piece.
Yeah.
I'll get you to tell us who the musicians are as well. But what song do you fancy doing?
I'm
for us?
going
Let's
to
go around
do
some music.
Statue of Liberty. This is a song co-written with Donald.
Very cool. We've got Willie Campbell with us, guys. Thanks for being with us.
Some saw a tree and torn away. Imagined it might be a shadow of what lay ahead, the Statue of Liberty. And the thought stayed with them throughout their voyage as the liner across the seas. Give me your time, give me your poor, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore, your huddled masses yearning to break free. Send these hopeless tempestuous to me. Sailing out of Stornoway, they saw the lighthouse on the shore. The final gleams of the island that they would see no more. And they knew the words written on that statue in the new world they'd explore. Give me your tired, give me your poor. I left my lamp beside the golden door. Your huddled masses yearning to break free. Send these hopeless tempestuous to me. Some saw those rocks and icebergs shadowing the sea, as they neared the western shoreline of that far-off country, far-off distant country. Give me your tired, give me your poor, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore, your huddled masses yearning to break free. Send these hopeless tempestuous to me.
Beautiful. Got Willie Campbell with us in the Moose. He is on tour. We're following in his wake, and the tour is called The Wake of the Metagama, and it's a fantastic show. Really is. It captures the flavour of the islands. For me, anyway, not being an expert in that, but also the fact that you had 2 sellout nights in Stornoway, and everybody in the audience, both nights, were singing along with the Gaelic songs in particular.
Yeah.
That, to me, said how much the whole enterprise has meant to the people in your native island. Would that be?
Yeah, it was really touching, actually. It was.
That was what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
I just wondered how you felt about
the response.
The response coming back to you the way
it was really, it was really powerful. I think there was a few moments where, when I was having to sing and I was having to really focus on not letting my voice break because I was feeling quite choked up here and there. Yeah.
Well, my chin was wobbly.
Yeah. It was a really incredible couple of nights actually.
Yeah, and Benbecula tonight, another full house as well. And there was there one of the ships left from Benbecula as well?
The
Was there?
Marloch, yeah. The Marloch.
That was the first one to go,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I'm not too sure to be
I
honest.
think it
Rob,
was.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we had Lisa in the Moose last week talking about this, and again, if you want to find out more about the background to the making of all of that, on the page that you're on, you just would have to scroll down to find it. But Lisa is with me last Monday here in the Moose at Eden Court Theatre, where you were all rehearsing. She took some time off to come out and do that. So yeah, it's a delight to be here on the tour with you as well.
It's nice to see you around.
Well, it's cool. We haven't seen each other for a while. While we're talking about the island, Lewis, I'm kind of interested in the similarities and the difference between, because it's not Lewis, it's Lewis and Harris, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not Harris, it's Lewis and Harris. But they're two different entities, aren't they?
Yeah, the Cleesham is like a geographical separation, really. That's the highest peak on the islands, and I mean it's the same landmass, really. Yeah. But that mountain sort of separates the two islands.
Does the attitude change between the two islands noticeably?
I mean the way of life and the sort of the approach to everything is pretty similar. Actually, the accent is quite different.
Is it?
The accent is really different. Yeah, down in Harris, but you know the true Herocks have a different. Yeah.
And can you pick Benbecula and Uist out as well?
Yeah, they do. They've got different accents again. Uist and Harris have quite similar accents, I think.
In the Gaelic as well as the English, different accents.
I can pick up a little bit on the differences. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I struggle to understand somebody from Uist's Gaelic actually here and there, but Lewis Gaelic I can mostly understand.
Very cool. So, your music. What's happening yourself at the moment?
Tumbling Souls have recorded 4 new tracks.
Yeah.
Album's coming up. Astrid will probably have a single before the end of the year. So the Tumbling Souls are have a single coming out in July.
Yeah.
We're playing March into Portlochry.
Oh yeah.
EDF Festival.
What day at March?
Saturday night. Yeah.
Damn, we got to scupper out of town. We're on that. I say we.
It's the same weekend as Bella. Oh no, it's not. Sorry.
No, I'm with a fella called Tom Mason, who's a slide blues player and pirate. He does a pirate show and stuff. So we're opening up the Saturday show, but we've been invited down to by Kevin Noon to his festival down at Straven. So we're going to have to bug out to get down there. So I'll miss the Tumbling Souls. I'm sorry about that. Any other gigs coming up?
Yeah, EDF Festival here, which I think is the same weekend as Belladrum, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
Tunes in the Dunes up in Thurso.
Great. What date's that?
29th of August, I think. Saturday. And Ed Kelt Festival, we're doing that too.
Of course.
So, plenty going on.
Yeah, plenty going on. And what about the Castle Festival that's coming up as well?
Yeah, I'm playing in a band called the Lewis All Stars. We're on before. It's gonna have a couple of members on Runrig and Callum Martin and this kind of legend Donny Caesar and another local guy Ado Matheson. They were kind of big deals back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm part of that band. We're going on before.
Remind me
John Fogerty.
It's a big event, eh? You're going on just before John Fogerty.
Yeah, we'd be on before John Fogerty, yeah.
Even that's great for the CV, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favourite.
Just, a seminal artist. Yeah. I don't think we'd be involved in music if it wasn't for Clearwater.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, seriously underrated. Yeah. I think he's an underrated writer, actually.
Yeah. He's never written a bad... Well, he's never released a bad song. But I don't think he's ever released
great songs.
And just that New Orleans soul grit about his songs as well.
Yeah. It's kind of
Louisiana, the first, should I say.
Yeah, but just a really tight, no nonsense, no frills band. I just love that sound. It's quite poppy.
Yeah.
It's got
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
pop
yeah.
songs. You know,
That's well, they were big hits. It's
Yeah.
no surprise.
great.
So that's a Sunday night. Who's headlining the Saturday night of that? And we'll come to the dates in a minute. as well.
Saturday night is John Fogerty. He's headlining
All right.
the last night. Thursday, Friday is Primal
exactly right.
Scream,
Primal Scream.
and the Pretenders are headlining one of the nights as well.
I think, yeah, that's the first one. There you go. There's a night. If you haven't been to Lewis and you've been looking for an excuse, that's apart from Heb Celt, that's the excuse. What weekend is there?
That's in 2 weeks' time, the 25th
Oh,
of May.
that's
I
coming
think
up.
Kicks off. Yeah.
Okay, that's what to do if you're looking for something to do in 2 weeks' time. Get yourself on the ferry, get across. There's plenty of camping, and might be struggling to find B&B now. I would have thought this time of year.
Yeah, possibly. I think camping might be a good shout though. Yeah.
Tickets available.
Yeah, it's not sold out actually. I think the Saturday will probably sell out.
Yeah.
Fogerty night will sell out, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Okay, that's all coming up, and Willie's involved in that as well. Thanks for being with us, guys, and thanks for coming out. And
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Do you want a beer?
No, thank you.
You're all right. I've got non-alcoholic as well.
No, I don't.
So, thanks for that.
You will.
Would you do a song to see us out of the whole show?
Absolutely. Going to be kind to my voice.
Yeah.
Lower the key. It's a country song called Truth and Lies that I haven't played in ages, so we'll see how we get on.
Don't get started in country music. We should just go to the bar and talk about country music.
The mystery is solved now. I stole away your peace of mind. Mr. Gray in the kitchen with a bottle at 3 a.m. But everything is changing. Now you know that I'm for you. Yeah, the world stands still when we're together alone. But all you want is to change my past. If you build a time machine, then I'll be gone in a flash. I never loved anyone before you. That's what you want me to say. But truth and lies hurt only in a different way. I never loved anyone before you. That's what you want me to say. But truth and lies hurt only in a different way. You're sending up a prayer before you're rushing out the door. And I smile to myself. I don't think I could love you more. Living in the darkness until the light came in the shape of you. Yeah, you're an open door, so I can find my truth. All you want is to change my past. If you build a time machine, then I'll be gone in a flash. I never loved anyone before you. That's what you want me to say. But truth and lies hurt only in a different way. I never loved anyone before you. That's what you want me to say. But truth and lies hurt only in a different way.
great song. That's Willie Campbell and 3 Chords and the Lies, as well as 3 Chords and the Truth.
Yeah, man. Why not?
Brilliant stuff. Well, good luck with everything you're doing, Willie. Always a pleasure to
Cheers,
be
Rob.
in your company. Always a pleasure to hear your music as well. And check out the the Souls. What's the? Sorry, I've looked brain freeze.
Tumbling Souls.
Tumbling Souls. Thank you very much. Check out the Tumbling Souls. Probably the one of the best live bands I saw last year, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see them again this year as well. Thanks for being with us, guys. Thanks for the likes and the shares and the comments. And if you can get to throwing something in the tip jar, that would be very much appreciated as well, because we need diesel to keep this thing on the road. And it can only operate with your generosity, and I do appreciate your help with all of that. There's Stuart jumping in, Stuart Joshua Tree jumping in, saying nice. So thanks for viewing, guys. We're out of here. Keep your eye on the Medicine Show Miss Mobile page at medicineshowontheroad.me for more from these beautiful islands over the next week or so. Thanks very much. We're out of here.